All right, let's get rolling with a little sports in the law. Another story of an athlete not knowing where his money is going. Cowboys running back Darren McFadden suing his former business manager, Michael Vick, that's not the quarterback, claiming he mishandled money throughout McFadden's career. It's a $15 million lawsuit. McFadden gave Vick power of attorney back in 2008. He has said he ended that agreement last month, but also had said in a different interview that he fired Vick 6 or 7 months ago. So there are a lot of different layers to this, and Steve Moskowitz, our sports and the law expert, is here to try to clarify it. For McFadden, how hard is it going to be to prove that someone else was mistreating him with his money?
You see if the other guy was doing it for the financial advisor's benefit. And in this type of lawsuit, if the allegations are true, you say, well, look, he misappropriated the money, he stole it, he used it for his own lifestyle. That's fine, so that would be relatively easy to win. The problem is if the guy was a bad guy and the money is gone, what's he going to recover? Now, interestingly, as you know, I love tax. If he wins and the other guy says, sorry, I don't have any money, at least he gets a tax write-off so he could recover about half of it.
All right, when we look at this case, it was found out by McFadden through a building deal. He was trying to sell him a building. That's one of the many things that are layered into this. Is each one of these incidences looked at, or is it a total of, is it the entire body of work that this guy allegedly did against McFadden?
Each and every item is going to be looked at, and what happens here is a financial advisor, like an attorney, accountant, has a fiduciary duty, which means that you're supposed to act in the client's best interest. And if you see self-dealing here, like he's selling him the building and making a profit, that's a major problem in a conflict.
Well, I hope McFadden comes out okay in this one, if in fact that is what happened. Prosecutors in Spain recently went after soccer star Leo Messi. Now they're having setting their sights on the soccer player Neymar. Prosecutors want Neymar charged with 2 counts of fraud and corruption. And a move that he had to Barcelona back in 2013. It was a transfer move, also involved our Barcelona's president, former president, Neymar's father, who was his agent. Neymar had an agreement with an investment fund, DIS, which holds 40% of Neymar's sports rights. This is a confusing case for me. Trying to just explain it. Can you help us simplify this?
Sure I can, and there's 2 elements, the criminal and the civil. In the criminal, if you lose, you can go to prison. But all you have to do to beat that is say, look, I didn't have the right set of mind to purposely cheat you. If that is believed, then there's nothing criminal. On the civil side, it's a much more difficult situation because if he did something wrong, even unknowingly, he can be hit with a lot of money. And he's already prepaid. He said, look, this was all tax planning that went wrong. Somebody gave me bad advice. That's to get out of the criminal charges. And on the civil side, he'd also want to try to get out of the civil penalty, saying, look, it wasn't my fault, even if it was wrong.
Part of this also involved the club he went to, Barcelona. They recently paid 5.5 million euros in a fine. How does that play into the Neymar case? Is someone admitting some level of fault?
When you do those, what you do is you pay, and there's an agreement where you say, I'm paying, but I'm not admitting anything wrong. I want to put this to an end. That's a standard clause that you put in there. And also, the agent is saying, hey, you cheated me too.
Neymar is also involved in a separate case in this? Does it muddy this case?
Yes, because everybody is saying, you cheated me. You cheated me. That's part of the problem.
All right, I'm going to rush to this last one because I think a number of our viewers are interested in this case here. This involves daily fantasy sports. If you like daily fantasy, FanDuel, DraftKings are said to be in talks to merge. That's according to Bloomberg. The 2 companies are the biggest players in the daily fantasy marketplace, and they control 95% of the business. Both companies involved in lawsuits across different states regarding legality and some calling it gambling. All right, Steve, 95% of the market, if they come together, aren't they trying to create a monopoly here?
That's what the government is going to say. It would be great for the company. It would be bad for the employees, bad for the fans, and there's a very high probability the Justice Department is going to say, look, this is total violation of antitrust. Not only is it too big, but you're not going to have competition. The 5% is not going to go against 95%. They're going to go out of business. You can raise your prices. And you don't have to be creative anymore, because right now, one company comes out with something else. They say, oh, that's terrific. The other company says, well, I have to come out with something to counter it. Now, you get together, you don't have to do any of that. You just say, I'm raising my prices. We're the only game in town.
I have about 30 seconds here. Both companies are being sued by numbers of states for different reasons. How do they handle lawsuits if 2 companies are trying to merge?
Once again, that's terrific, because instead of needing 2 sets of lawyers, you have one. And you have a united front, but also remember what they're trying to do is getting the legislature changed so they don't have to fight it out in the lawsuit.
There are a number of other elements in this. We got to do this the next time you come back. Steve, great having you.
Always
Thanks
a pleasure.
very much. You got your Warrior Tide ready for Game 6. That'll do it for Sports Talk Live.